Hey guys, it's Cassie, and today I'm going to recommend you guys some books. I made sure to choose some very easy and accessible books in case you want a cool book to read, but you don't want it to be too heavy, and I can make a separate video with harder books if you'd like. But these ones are easy for now, and with that said, these books are a little bit dark, just because that's what I tend to gravitate towards. I feel like pained hearts make better art, and I don't really read for leisure as much as I read to learn something or feel something. So I'm just going to get right into it. The first book is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This is the 1818 text, so make sure you get your hands on this one because there are a lot of different versions of this. I really like this book because it asks a lot of really important questions, like what is monstrosity, and to what extent do we participate in someone else's identity? Should we condemn someone for being desperate and doing bad things even though we put them in that situation in the first place? I studied this in first year university, and everyone in my TA class did not empathize with the beast at all, but I really did, just because the monster was put in that situation, and I think it's cool how even though something or someone can do a really terrible thing, books like this can cause you to empathize with them because, you know, they went through some hard stuff. The next book is The Outsider by Albert Camus, and my very intelligent brother got me to read this book, and for the first 50 pages I was like, God, this book sucks, it's so boring. And then I went into the room with it by myself and finished it, and I came out very, very distraught. Honestly, this book messed with me a lot emotionally just because it made me think about a lot of things. It's about a guy who is essentially an outsider, and he is because he lacks a lot of traits that people consider to be human. He lacks the ability to lie and to play games and to persuade people into liking him. He is who he is, and society punishes him very drastically for it. And like Frankenstein's creature, he does bad things as well, but I really empathized with this character. And you might not when you read it, but that's the beauty of books. It's up to interpretation. The next book is called Nausea by Jean-Paul Satre, and you can probably tell at this point that I kind of have a taste for loners, but this guy in particular is having an existential crisis. The book is in a form of a journal, and it has amazing quotes in it, like the following: "Every existing thing is born without reason, prolongs itself out of weakness, and dies by chance." And I know a lot of you guys will disagree with this quote, but it really, really reaches out to me. It's a very intense and graphic novel, and it's really cool to learn about other people's perspectives. I feel like I really relate to this guy in a lot of different ways, and he's often finding himself in a state of nausea because existence is so overwhelming for him. I recommend this book for people who are emotionally stable, not heartbroken, and just in a good place, because this book will crack you open and feast on the goo inside. That sounds so creepy. The next book is False Witness by Scott Cook, and it's a giant stack of sheets because I'm not about that ebook life. I got it for $4 on Amazon, printed it out, and had a whole piece of shit that I could read, and I got through it in one sitting, which is absolutely amazing for me, but the reason why I got through it so fast is because I was like, this is just gonna be another murder mystery novel, blah 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 blah, but I read it and it was so original and amazing, and it actually had soul. And even better than that, it was written by Terry's stepdad, and if you've ever met him, he is such a pleasant and nice and amazing guy, and you wouldn't think that he has such a graphic and amazing story in him. So I highly recommend this, and I wouldn't recommend something just because I know the author, because I feel like that's bad for your reputation and your soul, but this is a genuinely good book, genuinely original. I think it would make an amazing movie. Check it out. The next book is called Things the Grandchildren Should Know by Mark Oliver Everett, and I don't have a copy on me right now just because every time I buy a new copy, I see an Eels fan and I'm like, dude, you have to read this book right now. And they do, and we're like, yes, and we have an Eels party. I always used to listen to the Eels in high school. I found out that the man behind it has a book, and he had a dark and twisted and amazing and beautiful life. He wasn't very educated, but he was a musical genius, and his dad was very educated and was a genius physicist. So regardless of education, it's cool how madness and genius kind of go hand in hand. I used to casually listen to a lot of his songs, like Elizabeth on the Bathroom Floor, and I can't really do that anymore because it's about his sister's suicide, and it's a really sad and dark song, and it's cool how he just pours his soul into his music. So even if you aren't an Eels fan, I think that you will really appreciate this book. It's probably the easiest of all the books I recommended, Nausea being the hardest, and I just like how he's a positive guy, so I highly recommend it. So that is 5 books that I recommend. I hope you guys enjoy them, and if you've read any of them, please leave me a comment so we can be book buddies and talk about the various themes in all of those books. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!